The calendar. So, says the deadline for this first quiz is Friday. It was originally Friday, a minute before midnight. And by the way, you have to be done by the deadline, not started. Anyway, it's been moved to Monday, the same time of day, a minute before midnight. I told you that before. I'm telling you again. And you don't have to do it, right? You get to drop something like 3 of these throughout the semester. But usually you want to drop the hard ones, not the easy ones. This is easy. So don't forget about it. We have an exam in 3 weeks from today. It'll be in this room, which means you don't have to worry for another 2 weeks. So just take it easy. Other than, you got to do the quest things as they come up. But no exam. Then there's something called, I got contacted Friday, I think, about this company called Piazza. How many are familiar with Piazza? And is this a good thing or a bad thing? Yeah, oh, so then it's for my convenience. So that way you can, so the idea is that you can post questions on it. Everyone can see the questions. I think it's anonymous. What? But I can make it anonymous, I think. And I thought I'd set that up. Anyway, and then you can, I guess you can even answer each other's questions or take a guess at them. We'll see how it goes. It's not obligatory. They're interested in getting you guys hooked. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost me anything. But then if all you guys go out into the world and say, oh, Piazza, I'm familiar with it, and then your company uses it, then they make their money that way. So, okay, anything else occur to you? Yes. Okay, so when the quest is set up so you cannot see what you got until the deadline's passed. And why do you think I set it up that way? To reduce collaboration, maybe? So in other words, I expect you to talk to each other, but if someone gets 100 on it and say, oh, I put these down, I want you to do your own work. So it's kind of a small step toward that goal. So it's intentional. So last time we didn't quite get through the topic, which was the simple fact that our brains are not hardwired to come up with the right answer to everything. And the last bit I want to throw into that lecture is what we might consider to be a graphic demonstration of that, where we can all see that our brains are doing something odd, and that is optical illusions. So we'll just have a page of illusions, and we'll go through some of them, and it's entirely for entertainment purposes. And for this, I'll kill these lights, and then we'll come back. So this is a case where when you look at this, this looks really like spirals, and if you trace one of these babies around, it's hard to even do that. Yeah, I can't do it. But anyway, if you print it out and you actually do it, you find that they really aren't spirals, they're circles. But your brain makes you think so. Same on the other side. This is one that's easy. So you can see where the lines intersect. There's actually white dots there, but where you're not quite looking, your brain is creating little gray images. So, and the moment you try and stare at it, it'll stay white, but the other ones are just kind of flashing off and on gray or black. And then it says, strangely, the illusion only seems to work at a distance. If you move your eyes close to the screen, the illusion vanishes. But you don't have that option. Okay, this one you have to try out loud. look at each word and speak out the colors, not the word. It's not really an optical illusion, it's just the fact that your brain is automatically trying to do two things at once, which is look at the color, but look at the word. I never find these very impressive, but actually if you go to LBJ's home, boyhood home, whatever, out in Johnson City, there's something on the wall that he used a lot too, but you look at images and your brain will make either of two things up. So this is both an old woman or a young woman, depending on how you look at it. And it's pretty obvious what's going on, but so there it's kind of the old woman with a big bump on her nose. And then if you do this, it's the young woman. And there are lots of those things out there. But it does show what your brain is doing, which is piecing together some ensemble of things to create an image that you recognize, and it can do it in different ways. Okay, we got squares A and B. How many are willing to believe they are the same shade of gray? How many actually see that they are the same shade of gray? Right? None of us do. I always thought this thing was complete hooey. So, of course, what do you do when you don't believe it? You Xerox it out, right? Right? And they still look different. And now you put them side by side, and they don't look so different anymore. That's a real pisser. So. This is another one, and I'll let you make the call, but so they look different. Now supposedly if you do this, they look the same. They don't actually look the same to me. It's probably the background effect, but if you cover up the middle part, then the contrast goes away. So they look the same gray to you this way? Yeah, they don't to me. You're making it up. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Okay. Okay. So what colors spirals do you see? Well, so this is orange mixed with what? Green, and this is red mixed with blue. And they're actually, the blue and the green are the same color. And what's done here is, in this case, the blue is replacing the orange. Here, the green is replacing the red. So it's, I don't know, I mean, I can't explain it, but, but it is real. So again, your brain's making something up that's different than reality. Now, the way browsers work, these really could be moving circles, but they're not. So it's just, they seem to be moving. I don't know if you're close enough in for the effect to take place, but they seem to sort of ratchet around. Yeah, and it may help if you stare at them. Actually, they are moving quite well for me. And it has nothing to do with how I spent last night. Okay, stare at the plus in the middle. And it eventually turns into a rotating green dot. And you may have to stare to do it, but it's working for me on this screen. Oh, and now I'm getting actually an image. I got an image of green dots next to the pink ones. Okay. So these two faces look really different. Now they look like they've reversed. Trying to get them. And now if we move back out again, so, oops, wrong way. That's not what I want to do. Okay, stare at the black dot for a minute, the longer the better, and watch the colored fluff disappear. Yeah, it seems to work. Working, not working? Okay, move on to something else. So this is another one of those images within images. It's called 3 nudes. So face there, body there, face, body, and then someone curled around. And again, kind of blah. Okay, what do we see here? What's it look like? 2 people with a giant head in the middle, right? And that's curly hair here, mustache, etc. It's actually a child wearing, with a hood, face under there, arm out to the side. That one's cool. So again, why is it that our brain's looking at this and creating these images for us? There's a face in the beans. This is Where's Waldo, except Waldo is colored the same as the beans. Why? It's one of those things that once you see it, it's like, oh, right there. It's a book, you pervert. I'm just, it's a lamp, you sick pervert. This is an Escher type thing where, you know, someone's photoshopped in this going in front of the frame, etc. Escher has a lot of these types of drawings. This one doesn't work anymore, but this was a dragon. So it used to be that you could click on this and there was a voice over it. And I guess it's one of those images that'll follow you around to a certain point, but the link doesn't work anymore. So this one is, you look at this dancer and she's twirling in one direction or the other. And if you look long enough, it may reverse, but supposedly it has to do with which side of the brain you're using. How many see her rotating clockwise? How many see it the other direction? Okay, now see if So how many people have gotten it to switch?
I did. It's the switch. I saw it.
So anyway, I almost always see it clockwise, but I have gotten it to switch. So, and then there's this one, and I don't think we want to go there, but if you want to, we can. How many want to do this? How many don't want to do it? Okay, so you have to look at the picture a while to figure out what's going on. And it's not in the corners, but I did try and warn you. Now that I have your attention. So that kind of is a wrap up for the lecture on our brains misleading us, and I'm not going to ask you questions about the illusions, but it isn't. I might ask you, what do the illusions illustrate? And it's simply that, these are examples in which we can all appreciate that our brain's giving us the wrong answer, right? And in some cases, like with a square that was gray and looked like it was light gray and dark gray, we can do the side-by-side comparison, show they're the same intensity, separate them, and our brain goes right back to thinking, even though we know better, our brain goes back to thinking that they're different. Okay, I want to start a new topic now, which is on the scientific method, and we're going to play a little game like Wheel of Fortune with no money. And we will see if this goes better than last hour. Too bad. Common household phrase. Okay, anyone want to guess? Are you guessing or are you going for a letter? Okay, what you want an E? A T. Are we raising our hands to guess the phrase yet? Okay. Okay, you want a T? How many want a T? How many want something else? How many want an A instead? It's about tie. Okay, you got first go. I've found through the years that my failure to put in some of the letters where they belong really helps in dragging out the discovery. Oh, there's another one. T, right? 1, 2. How many did I put up? 3? Okay. Anyone want to guess it? Last hour, someone got it at this point. I showed my appreciation with a particular gesture of which you may be familiar with on occasion. And then the second phrase I put up, they got that fast too, so I wasn't real happy with last hour. Okay, another letter. Okay, the most vocal are A. How many want E? How many want A? This unfortunately was the... Okay. Okay. Are we going for a letter or the phrase? Phrase, anyone? Well, you don't get to do that. You have to, you have to put your money where your mouth is. We want a letter? What? Yeah, there's a space here, space there. Who wants N? Who wants something else? I hope. Who wants an E? Okay, that's about as good as we're going to get. How many did I put up? 1, 2, 3, 4. I put up 4 E's. Oh, yeah, they're 5. Okay, we're getting there. Phrase, it's okay to solve the phrase now. I won't be completely annoyed. Letter. N? M? M. Who wants an M? You're short-sighted. Who wants something else? We're running out of. Who wants I? Who wants R? R's kind of have it. That isn't going to do you any good. I love it. Oops. 1, 2, 3. Okay. O? Who wants O? Who wants I? She's got it. Common household phrase, right? Did I get some? Okay. There was method here, right? What we just did was demonstrate a very simple use of the scientific method. So what I'm going to do now is take this example we just worked through, and you're a great class, right? I just love getting past the first letter before it's solved. But we're going to crank through this, and I'm going to relate it to a structure that we're going to use throughout the semester. So this was Wheel of Fortune. Illustrates a simple scientific method, which I'll abbreviate SM, which back in my day meant something a little different. And we're going to break this into 5 elements. I'll list them. I'll tell you how the elements apply in this example, and then I'll give you kind of a broader definition of them. Then we're going to go on to the next example. So the 5 elements we'll recognize are the goal, models, data evaluation, and revision. So in our example, the goal is to work out the phrase. The models in this case, and I'll explain in a minute, models are shortcuts we use towards achieving the goal. They don't have to be right. We're trying to figure out if they're right. These would be our guesses about words in the phrase. So you start out looking at, well, there's 4 blanks here, 5 blanks here, you know, all kinds of words that could go in there. You may not have many ideas at all. The moment you see a letter or two, you start developing ideas. Okay, well, you know, what 4-letter word ends in E, etc. Data, where the letters went or not in the blanks. Okay, someone know how to use this sucker? Answer it. And I thought it was one of your phones. Okay. Painter 3.02. Didn't answer?
They said this phone has been lost. Please call.
Okay, well, while she's doing that, evaluation is deciding. So evaluation is where we take the data in the model and compare them, and we decide, ooh, does the model work? So deciding whether letters are compatible with your guesses or models.
Hello? You can't answer the phone right now.
Because the phone is here.
You can check your voicemail. Your phone's in Painter 302.
So we aren't going to be able to silence that, are we? Yeah, but it'll make noise in the drawer. I will, actually. I could put it out there. Let's see if it... Think you killed it? Can we pull the battery out?
No, I don't think you can get the battery.
Okay. Well, I guess I've learned we don't want it in this drawer from now on. Turn it off. Is it off?
Well, I can turn it off if I press that top button.
Yeah, kill it. Okay, so evaluation, we're sort of figuring out, does the model work? Is it compatible with what we're putting in the blanks? And then revision is, we can think of it as moving on, getting rid of bad models and trying new ones. So this would be bad word guesses. Oh. So I guess I jumped ahead a little bit. It's really abandoning words that don't fit. And trying new ones. So now, just to give you a general perspective, this is for the scientific method. Goal is what you're trying to accomplish. Right, and then in a general sense, this could be, improve health, avoid cancer, you name it. So we have some specific goal. We're starting with models are the substitutes or shortcuts for ways to achieving the goal. We'll just say achieving the goal. Data, we can think of these as observations. They are our actual representation of nature. Evaluation is sort of a comparison of models to data and deciding if the model is still okay. So it's just like it sounds, right? It's like, okay, well, I thought the first word might have been tile, right? And so we would have been okay up to the first 3 letters, but then the moment the M goes in there, it doesn't work. So that's an evaluation. Tile can't go in that 4-letter blank. By the way, we're going through, the semester is going to consist of us going through models, going through data, going through evaluation, right? So a lot of this isn't going to be clear for weeks, but get the general idea right now. So as I said before, revision is moving on. Let's say rejecting. This would never have been an issue when I was in your place. Okay, revision, rejecting inadequate models and looking and trying new ones. Okay, so there's a lot of overlap between what I went through this template twice, once specifically in this context of Wheel of Fortune, and then more generally. I want to now go to another demonstration. Okay, so here's a lamp, and you'll see me touching it, and the intensity goes up. Then I touch it again, it goes off. So I want to put to you the question of how might this lamp work? So I want some guesses from you. So what are some possibilities? Yep. So, but how is my hand doing things? So,
so your brain is sending signals to your nerves.
yeah, but tell me how the lamp's responding. I know how I'm working. Well, maybe. But, so what's the basis, what's the mechanism behind this? Heat, okay. The warmth of my hand? You only get one guess. At least until we run out. So warmth, fine. Pressure. What's another one?
Is that the only test we get? Like when we see you touch it with your pencil and see if that works?
Well, you're talking about the next step. I want ideas right now for what the mechanism might be.
Movement.
Okay, movement. Like I don't need to touch it, I just need to be near it. Is that what you mean? Like,
The lamp head moved every time you touched it.
oh, okay. So movement, vibration. Other ideas? so I don't need to touch it. It's some kind of motion detector that's not.
No, like just a sensor. Like you don't have to touch it. Just like anything can touch it. Like
But what's a physical mechanism behind that? Because I mean, this pressure and movement would also work with that. So that has never been proposed, and the only two ways I can think of testing that are going to be pretty disgusting. There's one other kind of semi-obvious mechanism that might be at work here. Okay, we'll be looking at that, but what about electricity? Maybe I'm completing a circuit when I touch it. Okay, now back to you. How are we going to test some of these? Oh, you want to go, Egg? What? I didn't hear.
The first thing I said, I was trying to express that.
Oh, okay, sorry. So you get credit for two after all. So now let's go about testing these. How can we decide whether some of these mechanisms are right? Do what? Okay. I have a pen. What can I do with the pen? And I don't want any graphic descriptions here of that don't involve the lamp. Touch the lamp, okay? And if I touch the lamp with the pen, what mechanism is that relevant to? Vibration, maybe? Okay, so on the basis of that test, which one are we ruling out? Well, pressure possibly, but that's pressure, right? So that's not working either. Now, warmth. What could I do to test that? I have to tell every class this. About 20 years ago, or no, 10 years ago maybe, I didn't. Why bring a lighter to class? Someone have a lighter. I get handed a lighter. It's child-proof. So I'm spending 3 minutes trying to figure out how to activate it. I've since learned to bring my own lighter. So I know so that's warmer than my hand. It isn't working. Exactly how is this moisture thing supposed to work? Yeah, but so the wet sponge could still be, okay. Oh, give me a break. That isn't gross compared to what I could have done. Now, completing the circuit, there are different ways you could do this. This apparatus, the stand is insulated. This is plastic. This wire is insulated. If it wasn't, I'd be a lot more animated right now. And you can see that it's still having the effect through the insulation. So, actually, none of these are working. Oh, bugger. We're almost out of time. Okay. So I did not get as far today. By the way, the mechanism, so there's a switch here that's doing all of this. It's probably something called impedance. You don't need to worry about it. We have to pick this up next time.